President Obama signed the stimulus package into law. Do you feel stimulated, anybody? How are you thinking? Are you getting that tingle? Yeah. No, they said the stimulus package will give people an extra $13 in their paycheck. So next time the bank starts closing in, you go, hey, hey, hey! Got 13 smackaroonies coming in.
Welcome back to the most news in the morning. Very soon, billions of dollars will be pumped back into an economy, the likes of which had not been seen since the Great Depression. And recently, there's been a lot of talk of that era. States are facing huge deficits, unmatched since the 1930s. And last year, the Dow had its worst showing since that decade. But is it really fair to compare today's economy to the Great Depression? CNN's Jim Acosta lies live in Washington. He's here to answer that question. Well, Jim, should we be doing the comparison?
It's very depressing to talk about it, isn't it, John? Well, you know, President Obama has said that the current crisis is the worst since the Great Depression, and that has sparked a debate here in Washington over whether FDR's New Deal actually helped or hurt during those doom and gloom days of the 1930s. And it's a debate that's far from over.
There you go.
Even before the signing of the stimulus,
we have begun the essential work of keeping the American dream alive.
Democrats and Republicans began having flashbacks to a time most Americans don't remember.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
The great debate over the Great Depression was on.
We have inherited an economic crisis as deep and as dire as any since the Great Depression.
With the Obama administration looking at spending its way out of the current crisis, liberal and conservative economists were sparring over FDR's answer to the Great Depression, the New Deal. The question, did it work?
When I say, why do I think the stimulus is a good idea? I look to the Great Depression. How did we get out? We spent lots of money.
The New Deal was a giant failure. I think Obama should learn from a different Democratic president. He should learn from JFK. Lower tax rates don't make government bigger.
If you could tell a different story about the New Deal, then you undermine the case for stimulus.
One congressman even claimed FDR caused the Great Depression.
When Roosevelt did this, he put our country into a Great Depression.
Congressman Steve Austria backed away from the statement, noting Roosevelt became president in 1933, 4 years after the Depression started.
Stop telling everybody that it's dire, it's this, it's that.
Now there are calls to end the debate. In short, enough with the Depression.
I wish everybody would stop saying it is dire, including the president.
President Obama's hometown newspaper, the Chicago Tribune, stated the parallels with the Great Depression are, at the moment, extremely far-fetched. But Mr. Obama is not the first to issue dire warnings on the economy.
All of us here in Washington, the president and the Congress, are responsible to confront the danger of an economic slowdown.
President Bush was accused of talking down the economy in his push for tax cuts. Nearly $1.5 trillion in tax cuts, larger than the Obama stimulus plan. And the FDR Presidential Library website has it up as one of its frequently asked questions. Did the New Deal end the Great Depression? The answer, not really. According to Mr. Roosevelt's library, the New Deal helped create jobs, but it was World War II that brought that era to a close. And John, I was looking at the numbers, and you can get a little dizzy looking at the numbers. But when the Great Depression started, unemployment was at 25%. FDR, through the New Deal, was able to bring that down to roughly 10% in 1937. Then it started creeping back up, which is why conservative economists say it didn't really work. But compare those numbers to now, 7.6% unemployment. It is a stretch to say we're, basically facing the next Great Depression. We're not there yet. The point of all of this, the president says, is that we don't get there, that we stop it now.
And many people are worried that talking about this idea of a depression might actually tip us into one. People might get so scared. It's also interesting to note that Congressman Austria and Vice President Biden seem to be reading from the same history book when it comes to Roosevelt.
Yeah, it's tough. We go back in time to FDR. And, those are some dark and gloomy days. And, Nancy Pelosi just the other day were saying, these are dark times, perhaps the darkest of times. And I think Susie Orman and some of the other, noted economists and financial experts out there have said, enough with all this talk. Let's try to move forward here.
And I guess maybe for Austria and Biden, too, Roosevelt was president for so long. Who remembers quite when he took office? Jim, thanks so much. Just about 30 minutes past the hour now, and here's a check of this morning's top stories. Today,